Now let's look at Ronald Reagan.
This is a good segue.
Yeah, right. Because I'm willing to have an honest conversation about King. Can we have an honest conversation about how horrible of a president and how horrible of a person Reagan was?
I mean, even before he was president, it's funny that you bring him up now because, the NRA is all, pro Second Amendment, but the NRA was not defending the rights of the Black Panthers to keep and bear arms, right? As a matter of fact, it was Ronald Reagan who was the governor of California at that time. And all of a sudden, when the Black Panther Party read the law, figured out that they could carry arms, that they could go into Congress with these arms, all of a sudden, the NRA started coming out with all these rules, who can have and keep and bear arms, and having all these limitations as to who can carry guns legally. And Ronald Reagan was a big part of that. So yeah, the rules change, the laws change depending on who's reading and trying to benefit from them. Just like you didn't see the NRA coming to defend Philando Castile's rights, when they were violated, when he was killed for having a legal firearm. The NRA was dead quiet, and so yeah, there is an absolute hypocrisy. That's why I know a lot of Black folks that are pro Second Amendment, and I'm not going to argue for or against, but they should be highly critical of the way the NRA treats the law when it comes to us, because there are rights to keep and bear and defend ourselves are not defended the way they are with everybody else, or with white folks especially. You know what I mean?
Yeah. 100% agree.
And Reagan was a big part of that, which is why I bring him up.
That was just one of many things, right? Reagan supplied weapons to terrorists while he was in power, negotiated with terrorists while he was in office, something that we claim that we don't do, right?
And where did he get the money from it? So you're gonna sell drugs over here so you can use the money to buy weapons for these people? That is the most gangster shit. Like selling drugs, bringing drugs into the inner city, creating a drug war by bringing the drugs in. Freeway Ricky Ross never met a Colombian person in his life, before he was introduced. You know what I'm saying? So it's crazy, and then Ollie North was like the fall guy for it. Yeah, that was a wild ass administration, and the fact that people still herald Ronald Reagan as being this great man is like, it's just like a collective amnesia.
The strong leader, right? Like you remember, I don't know if you remember the Beirut situation where you had 241 Marines that were killed from
in Beirut. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And then he starts this conflict in Grenada to kind of move the media's attention away from the Beirut situation. But yeah, I mean, his support of the apartheid government in South Africa.
Well, by the way, Beirut, new meaning to the word weekend warrior, right? Because the war took place over like a very short time. But yeah, I'm sorry, continue. I just had to throw that in there.
But you had the AIDS crisis, in which AIDS started early on in his presidency. He didn't necessarily talk publicly about it until 1986, and you had the death rate doubling each year until that point. So he didn't talk about it until he basically was forced to talk about it. And then he even proposed cutting funding into AIDS research. Like, this dude did not care. He did not care.
Yeah.
During the drug crisis that he was basically overseeing, right? Because he knew very well about the CIA and what they were doing, right? And he of course was breaking his own law that he signed to supply the Contras with these weapons that he was using to purchase with the money that was being made from the cocaine that was being flown into different ghettos around the hood, around the
wild
country,
ass
right?
shit. It's
I
some
know, right?
wild ass shit.
So, but yeah, but
Yeah.
we want to talk about Reagan as he's some type of hero. And I'm
But
like,
you know what but you know what's scary about it though? What's scary about it is the idea that they don't like Reagan despite these things. They like Reagan because of these things. They like that. They like the fact that he ignored what was happening in the inner city. They like the fact that he made money selling drugs, and they like all that stuff. And that's secret. And they try to, like, you know, cover it up with these moral things, or like the great communicator and all this bullshit. But
yeah.
no, they must. I'm forced to think that.
Yeah, it's hard for me to see people have a desire to criticize someone like King and not have that same ire when looking at someone like Reagan, who, you know, Reagan's actions resulted in people dying, resulted in thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people losing their lives because he had the power to directly affect the circumstances of their life, and he made the decisions he made consciously, knowing what the consequences would be. So to me, yeah, I'm sorry, we're a nation in which we build up people in this concept of perfection, and oftentimes, as long as those people align with our worldview, we will disregard all of the things they have done that are just flat out horrible, because they align with our worldview.